Hey, welcome back, my amazing student. So in the last lecture, we were able to build our step number one, should I say the page step one, but we are still not completed, right? Because we can click next and then we go to the next step here. But there are a couple things that we need in order for us to jump into step number two, all right? So first of all, we need to figure out a way to send data to the next page. Right now, yeah, we're done with that. We are sending this object here with a state property and the form data. That's great. But now, how do we carry this information? Well, where is this information? This information, this data is in the inputs. We don't have the value there yet, right? We're not catching that value yet. We're not catching that value from this. We got the function, the JavaScript function here, but we don't have the HTML. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. Let's hook that into the state, right? So we'll get the form data and make sure that it's name. And we'll do the same thing here for the email. There we go. So now we're ready. We're set. Let's go into step number two. So just to make things simpler here, instead of typing all this stuff, I'm going to select all. And I'm going to come back into step number two, and I'm going to paste all that stuff. Now, here's the question. Again, how do we keep track of this data? So when I write my name here and the email, and I click next, how do we catch it on this side here? Well, first of all, let's change a couple of things here in step number two. So first, the function name, of course, and the export right below here. Right? So let's make sure that this thing looks presentable. Let's go and change this a bit. And let's call this step number two. And here we're going to name this more details just to differentiate this from the other component or the other page. There we go. Let's just make sure that this is capital D. There we go. Perfect. Of course, we're not going to have an input here. We're going to have a select, but let's just change this a bit here and just to test things out real quick. This is going to be a number because this is going to be age. So this would be age, okay? And number and the value, the placeholder, sorry about that, would be age. Age. All right. So again, how do we catch this data that's coming from here that we're setting right here as an object and we're sending in right here? How do we catch it here? Well, we use a hook. Right here on React Router DOM, we use this use location. With this one now, we can pull that data. So right now, what I'm going to do here, I'm going to hold this in a variable. And let's go ahead and use that hook right there. Now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to change the information here that I'm going to be putting in state. Right? Right now we have, sorry about that. I have my phone ringing. Somebody's just calling me, being annoying. Sorry about that. So let me change this here. So this would be age. And this would be gender. Now, the beginning value here, what I'm going to do is from location, we have some data that we have there. So I'm going to use spread operator here, and I'm going to pull in state. All right. So remember, let's go back here to this one here. When we are sending this data, we're sending it as an object, right? And in that object, we have a property called state. Remember, just look at this object as the location object, just like that. All right. So that would be equal to this guy here, whatever we send in. And then we are just using the spread operator to say, hey, listen, just pull that out and get the state property out from it. All right. We're initializing this here, so we have it available. All right. And then we're sending this to the next step, which is going to be 3, of course. Super simple. Okay. Now we need to put a select here. Let's go ahead and jump into it right away. So let's just create this select HTML. And this is going to be gender. State, we don't need the ID here. So I'm going to grab this and yeah, let's just make the boilerplate real quick. We're going to have some options. So we'll just put 4, actually 3 options. Value, the first one is going to be empty because that's going to be our default. And we're just going to say select gender. Then we're going to have the male and the female, and make sure that you are filling up those values in there in here. Male and female. All right, so let's go back here, and you can see that starts to make a little sense now on what we're doing, right? And let's just put a class here and a couple classes just to make this look good and presentable. And as a matter of fact, let me just copy one of these guys so that way you don't have to see my slow typing in there. There we go, and that looks good. Perfect. All right. That looks awesome. So let's create another button here. Right here. And this one is going to be a back button. That doesn't look very nice. We'll make it look nice now. Let's just enclose this in a div, and let's give it a class name of flats. And just by doing that, yeah, that's still not going to look good because we haven't wrapped everything around yet. So let's just wrap those buttons there, class of flats, and that's just going to make it look like that right off the bat. Let me see something real quick here. Let me go to the app.js real quick, and just to check some things out, just to make sure that I got flats here in my routes. Flats, justify, center. Let me just put another flats column here. All right. And yeah. Let's just go back in here into step number 2. All right. So what I want to do here is let's do justify in between. Yeah, that did not look very nice. Let's just put margin right here to be at least 2. And now we should have something like this. All right, cool. Let's go back in here. And this button here is going to be triggering a different function, handle back. So right here where it says handle nets, I'm going to copy and paste that. And let's just change the name real quick to handle back. And that's just going to take us to step number 2, I believe. Actually, this is step number 2. This is going to take us to the homepage, just like that. Let me go to step, yeah. And this one, yeah. The homepage is step number 1. I almost forgot. Okay, so make sure that this is being taken in there, and also in the select, make sure that we do have a value too to take in as form data to be gender. And let's make sure that we also have an on change here to handle any on change data, right? We gotta pull the information from the form. Super simple. All right, so we need to catch that data. We need to actually see if the data is actually in here somewhere, this data that's actually coming from here, which is the name and the email. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to output this stuff somewhere so we can see it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a dash here, and I'm going to try to pull that data in here so that way we can actually see it. So that is going to be state. Let me see what that data is. State dot name. Let me see. Oh. Let me go up here, and we're pulling that data out from use location. So it's got to be location Let me see where I'm pulling it out. All right, so it's location dot name. Now let's see if we can see that data. So let's go back in here and let's just say Edwin DS, not Diaz, and click next. And we don't see anything there. Let's go back in here. So we're pulling that data out and we have it available. Oh, that's right. Sorry about that, guys. So location, that state, that name. There we go. And now you can see it. Sorry about that. So you can see that we can pull the data from it. And so it's coming out. So we're good. We have the data. That's what I wanted. I want to be able to see that we have it there, that we are able to get that data from location. So we're good to go here. All right. So handle back. Everything is working. If we have any type of problem, we'll fix it on the next one, but we should be good. Okay. Make sure you save it. Make sure you have no errors. Make sure that all your value are there, the value from the form. You're taking that into the next page, okay? Well, I'll see you guys on the next. Make sure here that this here is a type of number and this here is H. All right, I confused that a little bit there. All righty, I think we are ready to jump into the next one. Perfect. I'll see you guys on the next lecture.